Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, I have a question for you. In science class, if the teacher goes, "Hey students, you want to read from the textbook or you want to do an experiment?" What do you think the kids would say? Obviously, experiment, no book, blah blah blah. Because it's so much better when you see something for yourself than if someone else just tells you that it's true. And that is one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created humans the way we are. Way before humans were ever created, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala felt how wonderful it was to be nice to others and to help others and to give gifts to others and stuff like that. You know, everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives His creation is a gift, right? So anyways, that was such a good feeling, and He wanted to share it with His creation. And so, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created humans, then He decided to teach us how to be good to others, how to help others, and how to bring others happiness, just like how He did with others, and He felt so good about it. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided He's going to teach us how to be good to others. But how is He going to teach us? Remember that example that I gave in the beginning about the experiments versus the textbook? Students love to learn things by doing them for themselves, not just by someone else telling them that it's true. So instead of just giving us the science textbook, He let us find the truth about how awesome it is to be good to others ourselves through experiments. Let me give you an example. In Surah Yasin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين. That basically means that, when the disbelievers were told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to spend, for His sake, to, spend in charity and stuff, spend from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. Then, the people who disbelieved said to the ones who believed, well, why do we have to, give food to people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can just give food to if He wants? Because when you think about it, kindness doesn't really make sense until you actually do it. Like, you would think that you would get more happiness if you get a gift than if you give that gift to someone else, right? It doesn't really make sense unless you try it. But to try it, you have to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these disbelievers, they didn't trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so they were just like, oh, why should we have to feed the poor people? Why can't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do it? He wants to keep all the food to Himself. Astaghfirullah. Someone needs to tell these guys that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not hoarding food. Come on, you think He needs food? He invented food. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُم مِّن رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَن يُطْعِمُونَ. I only created humans to, be my slaves. I didn't ask them to, provide for me or to give me food or anything. So, it's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to give food to the poor people. He's just sharing that happiness of giving with us. And so instead of just telling us that, when you give people you feel good, He's showing us, He's letting us try it out for ourselves in an experiment. And then, so first we do the test, we give someone food, and then we see the reaction, and when we see how happy they are, then we get happy too. And that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us. But some experiments are not meant to be performed. They're dangerous for you. They can harm you. They can harm others. For example, let's say your teacher tells you to boil a pot of water on the stove to see what would happen to the water. Okay? You're supposed to do the experiment the way it's supposed to be done. You're not supposed to experiment in a way where, you pour the water into the fire and then it messes up the stove or something. I don't know. That's not how it's supposed to be. And that can cause people to get hurt, and that can, ruin things. And that'll have the opposite effect of the experiment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was trying to teach you. Instead of making you happy, then it'll just make you feel bad inside that, what did I just do? called guilt. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this thing inside each of us called a Nafs Lawwaama. It's basically something inside of us. In English, I guess you would translate it as a conscience. And it basically makes you feel bad and feel guilty whenever you do something bad. And the people who go to Jannah, those are the ones who have a strong Nafs Lawwaama. Whenever they do a bad thing, even a tiny one, they feel guilty immediately and they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them and they don't do it again. So yeah, all those rules that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes for us, those are just to protect us from the dangerous experiments that we might want to do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, have fun, do experiments, but don't do the ones that I tell you not to do because, you're going to regret it. It's for your own sake, okay? And these rules are supposed to protect you in dunya and akhirah. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you not to steal, for example, then He's protecting you in dunya. He's protecting you from the police, from the person you stole from. He's also protecting you from that bad feeling of, guilt that you have whenever you do a bad thing. He doesn't want you to, feel so bad about yourself and, feel sad and stuff. And He's also protecting you in akhirah from the punishment. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rules. And He doesn't want to punish you, but if you do a bad thing, He's going to have to punish you to be fair, right? So He's trying to protect you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ اللَّهُ نَفْسَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning you about Himself so that you don't, get punished by Him. And then He says, وَإِلَى اللَّهِ الْمَصِيرُ. Basically, you will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so be careful. So just remember that, when you get up in bed every morning, inshallah, and then, you just feel like, I don't want to get out of bed. Just remember, there's fun experiments to do. You can experiment, doing good deeds and then see what happens and, see that feeling afterwards. And even if you know what's going to happen, then you still want to do the experiment just to see it happen, just to feel it happen. Just like how in class, you know that magnets are going to stick to magnets. But you still do that experiment in class because you want to see it. It's fun, right? And if you think about it this way, then you'll never make the excuse that, oh, Islam is boring, Islam is hard. No, it's an adventure. Like when you think about it, every single event that happens in your life is just a new experiment. So do it in the best way possible and see what happens and you won't regret it, inshallah. Okay, that's it for now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.